Jujutsu Kaisen, chapter 267 is here. The fight is finally over. Yuji delivers the final blow to Sukuna with the help of Nobara. Sit back, relax, and let's go through it all. The chapter starts with a flashback of the switch training, where Yuta asks Gojo to give him Sukuna's last finger so that he can feed it to Rika and copy Sukuna's shrine. And in this scene, Gojo is in Yuta's body, and vice versa. Gojo explains that consuming Sukuna's finger would meet the conditions of Yuta's technique, but it won't be enough to analyze the shrine and its different techniques. Plus, Gojo doesn't want to lose his connection to Sukuna because he has another plan for the finger, but he gives another solution to Yuta. After that, we transition to another flashback just before the fight starts. Yuta is explaining to Yuji how his technique works. To copy a cursed technique, Rika has to ingest a portion of the target's body. The required body part and amount depend on what technique Yuta is trying to copy and how many times he can use it, meaning that the stronger the technique, the more potentially lethal body part is required. Yuta then adds a very important detail. He says, "Even if Rika doesn't ingest a lethal portion of the target's body, I can meet the conditions by entering a binding vow limiting the number of uses of the technique." Yuji then asks, what if reverse cursor technique is used to regenerate the ingested body part? And we see that he's getting excited because he thinks in this case Yuta will be able to copy Gojo and Hikari's techniques. But Yuta explains that the instant a consumed body part regenerates, its value within his technique becomes 0 and ceases to meet copy's requirements. Yuta adds that he can use cursed speech and technique extinguishment because Inumaki and Kurusu's arms can't be healed with modern medicine or reversed cursed technique, so they allowed him to use them. We also learn that Charles is temporarily without a rib, so Yuta can use his technique. When Mei sees Yuta telling Yuji about his technique, she reminds him of the resonance between Yuji and Sukuna. But Yuta is aware, and that's why he's not revealing his entire plan to Yuji, but he tells him a very important fact. Even if Yuji can't use it right now, Sukuna's cursed technique is already etched into Yuji's body. Gojo confirmed it with his 6 eyes. Now, back to the fight. Sukuna notes that Yuji is missing 2 fingers. He realizes that Yuta didn't consume Sukuna's last finger to copy shrine, instead he ingested Yuji's. So, till this point, Gege explained a lot, and there are a couple of points I would like to highlight. First, I don't think Rika can eat Sukuna's finger anyway. Sukuna's finger is a special grade cursed object, and it can't be destroyed or messed with. Second, Gojo told Yuta that he wouldn't get enough information to copy shrine from Sukuna's original finger, so how can he get enough information from Yuji's finger, a person who's yet to even use the technique? And the only logical explanation here is that Yuta made a binding vow to meet the copy conditions. So I think Yuta was able to use shrine only once. Essentially, during the switch training, Yuta asked for Sukuna's finger. Gojo refuses because he has another plan for it that we'll get to see in action in the upcoming pages, and instead he tells Yuta to consume Yuji's finger. After that, Yuta tells Yuji about his plan just before the fight to avoid the risk of leaking their plan to Sukuna. As Todo explained earlier, there might be still a resonance between Yuji and Sukuna, so they need to be careful of what they tell Yuji. And finally, we get an explanation of how Yuta can use cursed speech and technique extinguishment. We first saw Yuta use cursed speech in Jujutsu Kaisen Volume 0, but I think he was able to do that because Rika consumed Inumaki's blood. On the other side, Inumaki lost his arm during the Shibuya incident due to Sukuna's malevolent shrine, so Yuta fed the arm to Rika, and that's why he can use cursed speech currently. Now, back to the chapter, we transition to an unknown location. Utahime and Gakuganji are present at the place where Sukuna's final finger is sealed. The old man Gaku wonders whether the special grade cursed object, Sukuna's finger, which can withstand any jujutsu or brute force attack, can negate a cursed technique. But Utahime explains that they are using a binding vow. If they stop trying to destroy the object and focus only on allowing a cursed technique to pass through, then maybe it can work. But she is more worried about something else. She says, "It hasn't even been half an hour since she's woken up." On the next page, we see the one and only Nobara. Yes, she is back, and she says, "Let's see some smiles, boys," and she uses resonance on Sukuna's finger. Sukuna's whole body convulses as he's hit by Nobara's resonance. Sukuna realizes it's Nobara's cursed technique and starts freaking out. He thinks, "It's that girl. This is bad. I can't use my technique. I can't open my domain. The brat's sure hit effect is gonna land at this rate." On the other hand, Nobara says, "How's that for op, you damn idiot?" And Yuji smiles because he recognizes Nobara's technique. Yuji instantly hits Sukuna with his soul dismantle, however. Sukuna fights back and says, "This isn't over. You think you can flay me with this superficial domain? You haven't even been using reverse cursed technique to heal your wounds. You've surpassed your limit long ago, and the vast amount of cursed energy you've expended with this domain, you're the one on the ropes, you brat." But Yuji responds by landing his special delayed second impact punch. Yuji locks in and with a cold face he says, "Sukuna, it's time we end this cycle of curses." Then Yuji hits Sukuna with a black flash. The chapter ends here with no break next week, and we get the editor's comment, ringing the bell on a long fight. And considering Jujutsu Kaisen only has 4 more chapters to go, I think this is the end for Sukuna. Plus, it looks like we won't get to see the merger because there's no way for us to go through it in only 4 chapters. On top of that, Jujutsu Kaisen doesn't follow the traditional rules of storytelling, so I don't think Gege will go through with the merger and he'll find another solution to end the culling games. And if this is the case, I think 4 chapters will be enough for us to get a decent ending to the series. Now, one important thing I'm curious about is what happens to the world of Jujutsu after this. Yuki and Geto try to find a complete solution to cursed energy and cursed spirits, and it would be sad if the series ended the same way it started without finding a solution to this.